Good evening everyone and welcome to another Mech Merlin stream. As you guys can see from the stream title down below, we are building another CannonKeys board. Tonight it is the Vida, a 60% variant of the Reverie. So the Reverie was a 65, also with USB port. So yeah, welcome everyone. Starting at 260 bucks. If you buy it on Black Friday, which is also the release date of this board, they will also be doing a Black Friday exclusive with a blackout color. Everything's all black at 189 bucks. All Vida orders during Black Friday qualify for free shipping and you get 10% off all the Vida options. Keycaps and switches starting at 30 bucks and available only for 24 hours on November 29th. If you do not like the blackout version, you've got the Luma, the Blush, the Celeste, the Verdant, Azure, Navy, Chili, Yellow Jacket, which is my favorite, Pereza, Ecru or Esru, and LE. You also have your choice between WinKey, WinKeyless, and HHKB. You have your choice between a wired and soldered PCB, a wired and hot swap PCB, which is what we're building tonight, and a wireless hot swap PCB that uses ZMK. You have a choice of PC, FR4 aluminum or carbon fiber plate with different prices as you guys can see on screen. And the wireless version will come with battery and USB port plugs. Limited edition LE is a CannonKeys exclusive. So look, LE jumps to 260. Everything else is 220. So what's special about the Vida? If you guys caught my Reverie stream, this is a 60% version of that, meaning it's also got a USB hub, 2 USB ports. It's a bottom mount that utilizes PAR on dampeners, as you guys can see from the screen here. Yeah, look at that side profile, very beautiful. 19.5 millimeter front height, 8-degree typing angle, brass internal weights. The Blackout edition has aluminum internal weights, interesting. You've also got anodized aluminum outer weights, an option for brass and copper weight add-ons, of course, nylon alignment pins, and the battery is 1000 milliamp hour, which is very interesting because if you guys remember the Bakaneka Go, that one was 200 milliamp hours and that lasted like an entire month. So with the 1000 milliamp battery, this should last, I don't know, like 5 months, half a year. We'll see, as long as you don't use that USB port, I guess. So I do have a prototype tonight, guys. It's not the final production unit. Let's take a look at this board. It's like bluish gray, grayish blue. Really pretty. Those are the 2 USB ports you guys can see. Center mounted USB-C port. Like the top is connected to the bottom via magnets, so super easy to remove. You don't see any screws anywhere on the board. Seamless design. So if to take it apart, just lift the top off, like so. And yeah, you can't just swap it around. It goes in one particular way because the screws, once you put in the plate, have to align properly. Yeah, it shouldn't take too long. I don't really have to do much other than screw in the plate at this point, so yeah. In terms of switches, we will be using, also provided by CannonKeys, the Haimu Pastel Azalea linear switch. This one is a switch with a material I've never used before. That's UPE. I looked up what UPE is. It's a variant of UHMWPE. So it should be really slippery. It's being used for both the top and bottom housing, though the bottom housing has a mix of PA, which is a nylon. Stem material is still palm, 63.5G double stage 22mm spring, so should feel kind of like a 65 to 70G bottom out. And today's plate of choice is actually FR4. Let's get to building. I have the wired hot swap version. So this will be using QMK and VIA. I'm glad to see that it's got room for split backspace and room for split right shift. I will be using split right shift and various bottom row configurations. You got your HHKB, win key, win keyless, and of course standard, as you guys can see here. Yeah, the plate they gave me was actually one for a standard layout, so works fine. SMK meetup as usual. Is it at the brewery again? Yeah, CannonKeys doing good stuff for sure. Alright, let's see. Switches. Haimu, Pastel, Azalea, Linears. I did not actually count if I have enough for my layout of choice, but I guess we'll see. We'll see. Never used these switches before. Hopefully I like them. I'll be bringing some Topro weird stuff and a Riva. Alright, let's see. First board was a Poker 3, good old days of tray mount, yeah. So yeah, tonight is a prototype build. So this is not the production unit, which is probably why I have a couple surface imperfections. Just have to screw in the plate. And I have to put the mounting pins, the alignment pins in. So the alignment pins are also made out of nylon, I believe. So here are screws, and here are the nylon pins. Okay, so that's in there. So I learned that these only have like a certain number of detaches and attachments. So hopefully you won't have to rebuild your board multiple times. Also, this is fairly long, so you won't have issues like I did with the Cerebrus, if you guys remember that board. There we go. And then it lays on the gaskets. And now I have screws that I need to put in. Speaking about electronics, don't Chinese boards have issues with QMK? I saw some sort of post. Yes, QMK is an open source software. Open source software means you basically have to put your software online, like people have to be able to see your code. That's a fairly foreign concept outside of the United States. You know, so that's one issue of why Chinese manufacturers don't like it. The other issue that I've noticed is because everyone wants wireless these days. QMK does not play well with wireless. Not because of the technology, well maybe yeah, but it's mainly because of the licensing. There is no wireless software stack that matches the licensing of QMK. So if you want to make it work, you can't exactly contribute your code to QMK. So for example, Newfie, who produced the Air 60s, which is actually a fabulous board, I've enjoyed using it. They can't contribute their code to QMK. Their wireless portion is completely closed source, so you don't even know what they're doing there. At the same time, what ends up happening is if you want to reprogram your board, you actually need to get the VIA JSON file, upload it to the VIA web app, and then do it like that. You can't just plug it in and expect it to work. So it's a little more tedious. Bless our ZMK overlords. I'm hoping some PCB maker is going to be like, oh, that's actually a very pretty board. Let me make a PCB that is ZMK compatible so people can just swap it out. I would love that. Like, I didn't really care if my software was open source until I became a software engineer, you know? Ignorance is bliss, right? I've typed on Logitech boards since I was a child. I didn't care that I couldn't see the code with it. It's this hobby, I tell you guys, you know, it's this hobby. Makes you so, like, anal about things. Yeah, that's it. That's the build. And all that's needed is to take this and put it on. Easy build. Yeah, easy build, very clean. Whenever I see like magnets or even like the furniture style mechanism that like the Cycle 7 and Cycle 8 have, I wonder if I grab the board from the top and I'm not careful, if I lift it, will it come apart? So let's do that test right now. Ball and latch, yes it is. Let's see, can I forcibly remove the top if I'm just like casually picking up the board. Nope, this is actually sturdier than my Cycle 7. For my Cycle 7, sometimes I pulled it out of the case and the top comes off. I'm like, oh crap. Put it back on, then pry it off. All right, do not attempt this at home, kids. Shake, 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 shake. Come off, come off, come on, come on. Okay, yeah, I'd say that's super sturdy at this point. It's not gonna come off. Let's see, unless there we go. It only happens if I force it. Let's put on some keycaps on this guy. All right. Let me put the accents on. Sounds pretty good. Let's see. Let's do keep refrigerated. Such a funny accent, keep. Actually, no, I don't want it blue. I want it red. I want it red. Haimu Azaleas, yes it is. When I joined the hobby, brass plates had 20 to 40 USD premium on top of it. I thought it was better, but actually not really. Well, yeah, you know, people would assume that if something costs more, it's more premium. Like, there were lots of assumptions back then. And here we go. 250 milliliters. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful board. NicePBT Soya was actually a good match for this color. Let's do a typing test and then we'll play with the USB port. How about that? I'll see if I can connect my camera to it again and show you something on screen. Alright guys, this is the upcoming CannonKeys Vida. This is actually a prototype. I built it with an FR4 plate, the Haimu Pastel Azalea linears, and it is topped with a NicePBT Soyamilk. We'll do a quick 100-word typing test. It is a more deeper sound than what I was expecting, and I do like it. I do like it. I do notice that there were some keys that felt a little sluggish. I think that's what I was talking about earlier when I was comparing some of the switches. But yeah, overall, I think it feels good. I think it types good. But yeah, this one feels good. I do notice that when I type, it does feel more stiff, which is what I like. I think I might be a fan of bottom mount. But let's test out the feature that sold me on this board, that USB hub. My Sony a7 IV, and we are going to stream with the keyboard. So you guys can see it's connected directly to the keyboard. We are able to use the Vida's USB-A hub to connect devices such as a camera and output it to a live stream. And everything seems to be working as intended. Hello. Okay, you guys can watch my mouse on this camera really quick. Let's plug in a little spinning hard disk. So let's see, does it show up on my monitor? I can hear it spinning. Okay, there might not be enough power, guys. That's taking way too long. Just to double check, I'm gonna plug it into my computer. It got detected. So yeah, I don't think this guy has enough power. Let's see, hard drive by itself? Sure. Let's detach the camera. Okay, hard drive on its own. Okay. It's not doing it. It can't do it. It can't do it. It can't do a spinning hard drive. This is your typical Seagate thing. Seagate Backup Plus that I picked up from Costco. Here is a SanDisk one. So just to show that it works on its own. Plugged it in. Got detected right away through the hub. Okay, so with that said, let's plug the camera back in. And then let's plug the SSD. See what happens. Okay, so we should be back. And there we go, see? We are back. And then we will plug in the SSD. Will it show up? Yep, it still showed up. Yeah. I guess spinning hard drive, you just can't do it. Well, I learned something new today. I was not expecting this to fail, actually. That was a surprise. Okay, well guys, we are about an hour into the stream. We have built the keyboard, we have typed on the keyboard, and we've tested out the USB ports. I think this is a good time to end. Like I said, this was a very simple build. You didn't have to do too much other than take off the top, put the alignment pins in, and then screw the plate and the PCB assembly into the bottom half. Yeah, it took probably less than an hour just to do that, and the last half hour we've just been messing around with this. But yeah, we can end the stream with another typing sounds and a last quick final thoughts. Once again, this is the soon to be released on Black Friday CannonKeys Vida. I'm running an FR4 plate and with CK and Haimu pastel Azalea switches topped with NicePBT Soyamilk. I am no longer a big fan of 60%. Well, I still like them, but they're not something I gravitate towards anymore. This having a USB hub right here is very conducive to it being small and compact, because as what Tiferet was saying in his last comment here, that they can use a Logitech mouse adapter on it just by putting it over here. My use case with the Reverie was by putting my UB key on it, so all I had to do was press it really quick whenever I was committing any of my source code. In terms of the board itself, I like stiffer feeling boards, and this being a bottom mount with some dampeners with pour-on gaskets, this is really up my alley, so I like the typing feel. I like the sound as well. I think that's more to do with the switch choice. If I could rebuild this board again, I'd probably try and find something a little bit more higher pitch sounding, maybe the KVD fans roller switches, or possibly something with a long stem, PC top, who knows. Speaking more about the USB ports, Today I discovered that there is indeed a limitation to that. You can't just plug in any type of USB device. For this stream, I had both my A7 IV streaming through it, and when I tried to plug in a spinning hard disk, backup hard disk from Seagate, it would not work at all. Even if you only used the SSD by itself, it still would not work. So yeah, definitely some limitations when it comes to that. But if you're just gonna use like a flash drive, camera, or possibly even another keyboard, you should be completely fine. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Once again, this is the Vida by CannonKeys, set to release with a special all blacked out edition on Black Friday, November 29th. But other than that, 220, along with, or unless you go for the limited edition, which jumps the price up to 260. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this stream, and I will catch you next Tuesday, in which I'll be building hopefully a customer's board, if it gets to him on time. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye everyone.